you may think, what am I expecting? Or am I taking my affection and commitment to that person, or rather than just giving a little bit to get it back? Here is something we all know so very well. Nobody can provide to someone else, not even the most loved, that which was generated in himself. Somebody else cannot give you what you haven't generated in yourself. He can't give you love unless you have it within you. The one can offer the other valuable incentives to find what he already possesses in germ, but he cannot transfer no matter how much he wants to. So our evolution, the Spiritism, the great books we read, the prayers we say, but eventually we have to take action about our own development of love. And I know the different books we all read in Spiritism, and we get a chance to look at our parish spirit after we discarnate it. And it won't be asking, how many times you said your prayers, or which church you went to, or which synagogue you went to, or which mosque you went to. It'll be the degree of the luminosity of your parish spirit, meaning the light or the love, whether it's there or not there. But nobody else can give that to us. And it's probably the best explanation or whatever reference to why we have so many incarnations. Start and do it again. So the summary of the approach that Joanna and Angelis suggested we follow for this time is to love yourself in order to love your neighbor, by consequence, to love God. And I saw one presentation and the speaker said, even look at your own body. That's the result of billions of years of evolution. And when that was started, Christ met with them some of the higher levels, I think they call them engineers. This was the process, was to be so that after billions of years, you would have the healthy body, the heart that beats 24 hours a day, even when you're sleeping. And when you take a glass of water, days later you got a fingernail ring. How can it work that way? So they're suggesting that even in terms of loving ourselves, to take a moment to value a magnificent creation, what do you want to call it, a piece of evolution that one time was way back here. That piece of evolution that the human body is. It's that you put your arm out and the sun might come with vitamin D, and all of a sudden your skin is healthy, your eyes are working, your ears are working. Science, with all its work, has got a long way to go to even to begin to appreciate it. So in loving yourself, you might, even in wanting to love God, you can start by learning and looking at what we already have. And this is why we started, whether it's the rock or the plant or the beautiful life that we see in animals. And there's such a movement today to respect animals. And it really is because they have a pretty high level of love in them. We want to appreciate it, but to appreciate all of them, whether it's the seasons and the sunshine or whatever. The sublimation of love. Sublimation, and it's not a word we use a lot in English, so I'll say a couple words of explanation. Sublimation, I had to look it up in the dictionary to be sure, is the refinement. I think it's quite clear in Portuguese, but it's not that clear in English. So it's the refinement or the perfection of love. And it's interesting, Christ didn't write a word. Yet his movement and his words were spoken. Loving God above all things and love your neighbor as yourself. And we thought about maybe this, we get everybody and take a piece of paper, write down some things that you're going to do. is we have to do something. So maybe but we didn't do it because when I'm in that situation, I find it kind of embarrassing or uncomfortable, and I don't write anything down. So I didn't get any paper. But I would encourage you, and because of this, to take a few moments and write down a few things that you might even want to think of once a week. Maybe the beauty of that tree out there. Maybe the beauty of the pet you have in your home. Maybe the moment that your parents gave you that allowed you to have the happy life you have now, that they passed on. The tremendous work that the discarnates did in order to find you, the parents you got, so that you would have the genes and home to live the life and to go where you could go if you wish. So she's quite aware that she reversed the order in terms of dealing with love, going normally from out there, God and the tremendous act of redemption down to us, and that's why we should be happy because of out there. No, she's saying to love yourself, to love your neighbor, and by consequence, you will love God. Because we're all creatures of the sublime fatherhood of God. It's so interesting. Loving himself, the individual matures his feelings of understanding life. And so many people who you may know who do things that are not very nice, they don't seem to have nice feelings inside them. And you can't give what you haven't got. So it matures his, loving himself, the individual matures his feelings of understanding life. So he doesn't go along and break a branch off a tree, or he doesn't kick an animal, or he doesn't do something mean in the store to somebody else because they're cutting you off in the aisle. His understanding of life is that every moment is an expression of the sublime fatherhood of God manifesting itself through you and me and others. So this loving himself, the individual matures his feelings of understanding life. His duty of self-illumination, of moral and spiritual growth. Practicing the relevant commitments and make him aware of his responsibilities and duties. So they really a very operative little phrase there is practicing the relevant commitments. We haven't been asked to go to the Colosseum. And we haven't been asked to die of starvation. And we haven't been asked to live in areas that are so unsafe that we haven't been asked that. So we have to find out how we practice to make our relevant commitments. So we're aware of our responsibilities and duties. Another quote that is, it's almost a bit shocking, but you'll see it. Love cannot be accidental, that is biological or occasional. To love parents, siblings, and relatives, because they found and lived with duties to each other, this is not pertinent in the commitment of love. It's kind of a long sentence, I'll try to break it down a bit. She's saying it is just because the love we have for relatives, for parents, for children, is bigger than, is part of it, is bigger than just the love that because your parents did a lot for you, then you owe them something. Now, she said that love that parents have for the children, and they're helping them, is a love that comes just because of the responsibility and the level of love that the parent lives at that moment. Not because the little baby someday is going to look after you when you're old, because that is your commitment that's relevant to your time in life now. When parents demand that their children love them, considering the sacrifice to educate them, everything they gave up so the children could be happy, that is not a feeling of love, but a retribution. So when we're taking a look at love, it's pretty serious. He doesn't say any good feeling is okay. All good feelings are the same. No. Just to help somebody else because they helped you. It's not the It's not the kind of love that she's advising you